I do professional house sitting full-time. Not dog sitting, not plant watering. Actual house sitting, security presence, maintenance coordination, keeping the place lived in while the owners are away. Most of my clients are wealthy people who travel constantly and don't trust alarms alone. That's how I found the listing. The pay was unusually high, nearly double my normal rate. The description was short, almost careless. Private residence, minimal upkeep, must stay overnight, discretion required. No photos, no owner name, just an address in a quiet, gated area outside the city. I messaged. They replied within minutes. The homeowner, Martin, sounded polite and precise. No small talk, no emojis. He said he'd be gone for 3 weeks and wanted someone experienced with following instructions exactly. When I arrived for the walkthrough, the house looked like something out of an architecture magazine. Clean lines, concrete glass, steel. Everything white or gray. No personal photos anywhere. No clutter, no warmth. It didn't feel abandoned. It felt paused. Martin handed me a slim black notebook before he even showed me the kitchen. "These are the house rules," he said. "Please read them carefully." I expected the usual stuff: alarm codes, thermostat settings, trash days. Instead, the notebook was labeled House Operations Manual. There were 12 rules. Most of them were odd, but logical enough that I didn't push back. Rule 1, do not open the storage room beside the garage. Rule 2, keep all interior doors closed between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Rule 4, if you hear the vacuum running in the basement, do not turn it off. It means the floor is getting dirty. I actually laughed. "I don't think vacuums work like that," I said. Martin didn't laugh with me. "The basement stays clean as long as the vacuum runs." I wanted to ask more questions. Instead, I nodded and kept reading. The rest were mundane by comparison. Don't adjust the basement thermostat, don't unplug anything in the utility room, ignore notifications on the wall panel after midnight. Before he left, Martin looked me straight in the eye. "Nothing in this house is broken. It's all functioning as intended." The first few days were uneventful. The house was silent most of the time, the kind of silence you only notice when you stop moving. Appliances hummed softly, the air felt constantly filtered. At night, I followed the rules. Doors closed, lights left alone. On the third night, I heard the vacuum. It started at exactly 2:17 a.m. A low, distant hum from beneath the floor, steady, mechanical, like an industrial cleaner. I lay in bed listening to it, reminding myself of Rule 4. Basement cleaning system, automated. Expensive houses have weird features. Still, it ran for hours. At 5:58 a.m., it shut off. That morning, the basement floor looked spotless. No dust, no footprints. I tried not to think about how clean it was. Things started to change after the first week. I noticed the vacuum began running earlier each night. 2 a.m., then 1:30, once, just after midnight. The sound wasn't loud, but it carried. It wasn't moving either. It sounded stationary, like it was focused on one spot. I checked the manual again. Nothing explained how the vacuum worked, just that it should not be turned off. On the 10th night, I broke another rule by accident. I woke up thirsty around 3 a.m. and stepped into the hallway without thinking. Every door was closed, just like the rule said. Except one. The door at the end of the hall, the one that led to the basement stairs, was open. The vacuum was running. The sound was louder now, more immediate, like it wasn't all the way downstairs. I didn't go closer. I shut my bedroom door and waited for morning. In the daylight, the basement door was closed again. I checked the wall panel near the kitchen. It showed activity logs for the house systems. At 2:47 a.m., the basement cleaning system had been assisted. I didn't know what that meant. The house began to react to me. That's the only way I can describe it. If I stayed up later than usual, the vacuum would start sooner. If I tracked dirt inside from the yard, it would run longer. Once I dropped a glass in the kitchen. It shattered across the floor. The vacuum turned on immediately. Not the basement one. A smaller unit emerged silently from behind the island, sweeping up the shards before I could even react. I stood there watching it clean up the mess I'd made. That was the moment I realized the house wasn't just automated, it was observant. On the 14th night, I made a mistake. The vacuum started at 12:09 a.m. The sound was different this time, louder, closer, almost directly beneath the living room. I told myself it was nothing, but curiosity got the better of me. I went to the basement door. The handle was warm. The vacuum noise was unmistakable now, not moving across the floor, circling, like it was working around something. I remembered Rule 1, the storage room beside the garage, another room I'd never opened. I thought about how many rules were about not interfering. I cracked the basement door open. The stairs were lit. At the bottom, the basement looked larger than I remembered. The concrete floor stretched farther into the darkness. The vacuum sat in the center of the room, upright, industrial, humming steadily. There were footprints around it. Bare footprints. They didn't lead to or from the stairs. They circled the vacuum in overlapping patterns, like someone had been there for a long time. I closed the door and locked it. The vacuum stopped. My phone buzzed. A notification from the wall panel system. Manual override detected. Then another. Additional cleaning required. The vacuum started again, louder than before. I emailed Martin that morning. I told him I was uncomfortable, that I thought someone else had access to the house, that I had seen footprints. He replied hours later, "The house has multiple caretaking systems. You are one of them." That was all. I packed my things. When I tried to leave, the front door wouldn't unlock. The wall panel lit up. Rule violation logged. The vacuum started again. This time, it wasn't in the basement. It was on the stairs. Each step made the sound clearer, slower, deliberate. I backed into the living room, watching the hallway. The vacuum appeared at the top of the stairs, moving on its own. Behind it, something else moved. Not clearly, not fully visible, just a suggestion of motion, like air being displaced. The vacuum passed over the carpet, cleaning a path. The thing behind it followed. The wall panel updated. Caretaker performance suboptimal, floor condition deteriorating. I understood then, the house wasn't cleaning dirt, it was cleaning evidence. I stayed in the guest room until morning, sitting upright, listening to the hum move from room to room. When the sun came up, the house went quiet again. The front door unlocked. I left without looking back. I didn't take the payment. 2 weeks later, I checked the listing again. Same address, same pay. One new line added at the bottom. Must be comfortable working with others.